This is Lisa, the mother of my future son. Those were the exact words Emily heard at her own dinner table, from her own husband. About another woman. The family erupted. His mother stood, his sister smirked, glasses raised. Emily's fork stopped halfway to her mouth. She did not cry, she did not speak. She sat at a table she had set herself and let them celebrate. She had given herself IVF injections alone in their bathroom every morning for 3 years. Her hands shook so badly she almost dropped the needle. David was supposed to be there for the first one. Client emergency, you'll be fine. She blamed herself for 11 years. She was wrong. Emily built Evergreen Realty from nothing, 50-50 partner, her name on every contract. David handled clients. She handled everything else, the numbers, the strategy, the late nights when deals were dying and needed saving. They were a machine. At least that's what the world saw. At home, the machine had been rusting for years. The fertility struggle started quietly. 1 year of trying, then 2. Doctor's appointments every month. Emily lying on cold exam tables while strangers discussed her hormone levels like she wasn't in the room. Year 3, they tried IVF. Emily took the injections every morning. David was supposed to be there for the first one. He texted 30 minutes before. Client emergency, you'll be fine. She gave herself the first shot alone in the bathroom. Her hands shook so badly she almost dropped the needle. The IVF didn't take. They tried again. And again. Year 5, the doctor suggested they test David. Emily brought it up over dinner. They want to check your count, just routine. David set down his fork. Real men don't need to prove anything. He stood up. He left the table. Emily sat there alone. She finished her meal in silence. The doctor told her it might be her age, her stress, her hormone balance. David never got tested. Year 7, they stopped sharing a bedroom. David said he needed space for work calls. Emily moved to the guest room. Year 9, they stopped touching entirely. No kisses goodbye, no hand-holding at events, no accidental brushes in the hallway. David started staying late at the office, 3 nights a week, then 4, then 5. Emily told herself it didn't matter. The company mattered. The partnership mattered. She kept working, kept building, kept silent. Year 11, David's mother came for Thanksgiving. She pulled Emily aside in the kitchen. A man needs a legacy. If you can't give him that, someone else will. Emily smiled. She nodded. She carved the turkey. 11 years of believing she was the broken one, she wasn't. And David? David started staying late at the office. The family dinner happened on a Thursday in March. David's mother, his sister, his brother-in-law. All seated around the table Emily had set herself because David said the housekeeper was too expensive now. Emily carried the roast to the table. David stood at the head. His hand rested on the shoulder of a woman Emily had never seen before. Young, pregnant. 4 months, by the size of the bump. The room went quiet. David smiled. His hand moved to the woman's stomach. For 11 years I stayed with a woman who couldn't give me children. Emily's fork stopped halfway to her mouth. I kept her around out of pity. His mother nodded. His sister smirked. And because we still have business to finish. The woman, Lisa, looked at Emily with something close to pity. But tonight I'm done pretending. David pulled Lisa closer. Meet Lisa. She is carrying my son. The table erupted. Applause. Gasps. His mother stood and hugged Lisa like she'd known her for years. She is the future mother of my child and the new queen of our company. Emily's face was stone. No tears. No words. I'm not broken. She was. He raised his glass. Cheers to real fertility and me finally getting everything that's mine. He kissed Lisa. Hard. Long. The family cheered. David looked straight at Emily. You're still in the house for now. We have papers to sort. But your time as silent partner is over. Emily sat perfectly still. Inside, her soul was being shredded. Outside, she simply nodded. She stood. She cleared the plates. Like a servant. That night, Lisa moved into the master bedroom. Emily heard them laughing through the walls. She heard the bed frame hitting the wall. She heard Lisa's voice, breathy and performative. Finally, a real man. Emily stared at the guest room ceiling until 3 a.m. The next morning, David's lawyer called. We're still legally married. You can't leave until the company assets are sorted. David insists you stay in the house for now. It's cleaner this way. Emily said nothing. She hung up. At 5 a.m. the next day, David knocked on the guest room door. Lisa's morning sickness is bad. Make breakfast. Eggs, no salt. Emily made the eggs. For 90 days, this became her life. Cook, clean, serve, disappear. David called it earning your severance. The family called it finally learning her place. But Emily wasn't broken. She was just getting started. Emily woke at 5 a.m. every morning. She cooked eggs, toast, fresh squeezed orange juice. Lisa walked into the kitchen wearing Emily's silk robe, the one David had bought her on their honeymoon in Paris, the one Emily had worn the morning after their wedding, standing on the balcony overlooking the Seine. Lisa smiled. David said, "You don't need this anymore. It fits me better now." She turned in a slow circle, like she was modeling it. Emily set the plate on the table. No words. Lisa sat, she ate, she scrolled her phone. "You know, I thought this house would feel colder, but it's actually really warm. David says we're going to redo the whole thing once you're gone. New furniture, new paint. Maybe knock out a wall or two." Emily poured the orange juice. Lisa looked up. "Oh, and David said you can keep the guest room furniture. We don't need it." Emily went back upstairs. That night, she photographed the robe hanging in their closet. She zoomed in on the tag, Paris 2014. She sent the photo to her private investigator. Document everything she takes, timestamp everything. The PI replied in 2 words. Got it. Emily cleaned the master bedroom every Tuesday. Her old room, her old bed, her old life. Lisa's lingerie was draped across the comforter. Black lace, tags still on, expensive. Emily folded it. Lisa walked in mid-fold, laughing on the phone. She covered the speaker. "Oh, you're still here? I thought the maid came Tuesdays." Emily said nothing. Lisa went back to her call. "Yeah, she's standing right here, folding my underwear. It's pathetic." She laughed again. "David says she used to be smart, ran half the company or something. Now look at her." Emily finished folding. She placed the lingerie in the drawer. She closed it gently. She left the room. That night she found David's laptop open on the kitchen counter. Foolish. She scrolled through his emails, one to his lawyer, sent at 11:47 p.m. the night before. "How soon can we transfer her 50% of Evergreen to me? Can we forge her signature if she won't cooperate? I need this done before she hires someone competent." Emily took 3 screenshots. She sent them to her attorney. Subject line, "He's trying to steal it." Her attorney replied at 2 a.m. "We'll file an emergency motion. Say nothing. Let him think he's winning." Emily said nothing. Week 3. Lisa redecorated the living room. Emily came home from the grocery store to find her wedding photos in a trash bag by the curb. The frames were shattered, the glass in pieces. Lisa was inside, hanging new art on the walls. Abstract prints, bold colors, nothing like what had been there before. David stood in the doorway, watching. "Looks better already." Lisa turned to him. "I told you, this place just needed a woman's touch." David kissed her forehead. Emily walked past them. She carried the groceries to the kitchen. That night, she pulled the photos out of the trash. She wiped the glass off. She kept one. The photo from their wedding day, David's arm around her waist, both of them smiling. She put it in an envelope. She didn't write anything on it. She just filed it away. David and Lisa sat at the dinner table, scrolling through baby cribs on an iPad. Emily served pot roast. Lisa looked up. "Your old room has the best light. We're converting it this weekend." David nodded. "She doesn't need a whole room. The guest room is fine." Lisa smiled. "We're thinking soft blues, maybe a cloud mural. Something calming for the baby." Emily set down the gravy. David slid a document across the table. "Just sign this, for taxes." Emily picked it up. It was an asset transfer form, her 50% of Evergreen Realty. Signed over to him. She looked at him. He smiled. "It's just paperwork. Makes the divorce cleaner. You know how messy these things get." Emily set it down. "I'll have my lawyer review it." David's jaw tightened. "You don't need a lawyer. We're handling this like adults. Lisa touched his hand. Let her feel like she has control. She'll sign eventually. Emily walked to the kitchen. She photographed the document with her phone. Every page, every clause. She sent it to her attorney. He's trying to transfer my 50%. Countermove? Her attorney replied in 5 words. Let him think it's working. Week 5. David brought clients to the house, 3 men in suits. They sat in the living room discussing a commercial property deal worth $4 million. David called Emily into the room. Drinks for everyone. Whiskey, neat. Emily poured 4 glasses. David stood. Gentlemen, I want you to meet Lisa, my partner, the future of Evergreen Realty. Lisa walked in, her hand on her belly. She smiled. The client stood. They shook her hand. Congratulations on the baby. David beamed. Thank you. We're building something real here, a legacy. One of the clients glanced at Emily. And who's this? David didn't look at her. That's Emily. She's helping out around the house. Lisa laughed softly. She used to work at the company, but things change. Emily set the last glass on the table. She left the room. That night she recorded the entire conversation from the hidden microphone she'd planted under the coffee table. David's voice clear as day. Emily's out by the end of the year. We're restructuring. Lisa's taking her seat on the board. Emily saved the file. She titled it, Evidence, Week 5. David's mother and sister came for Sunday brunch. Emily cooked. Pancakes, bacon, mimosas. She served them at the patio table. David's sister didn't look up. Emily, more coffee. And clear the table. Lisa's back hurts. Emily poured the coffee. David's mother leaned toward Lisa, loud enough for Emily to hear. He's finally getting a son. Thank God he didn't wait for her. Lisa touched her stomach. I told David we should let her stay. She's been useful. David's sister laughed. Once the baby's born, buy her out for pennies. She's too broken to fight. David's mother nodded. Just make sure the lawyers move fast. The longer she's here, the more she might catch on. Emily cleared the plates. She said nothing. Later that night, she listened to the recording from the hidden microphone she'd planted in the living room. David's mother crystal clear. If she hires a real lawyer, this gets messy. You need to pressure her into signing before she realizes what she's worth. Emily saved the file. She titled it, Evidence, Week 6. Week 8. Lisa hosted a baby shower. At Emily's house, 30 women, pink and blue decorations, a dessert table with a 3-tier cake. Emily spent the morning setting up. Chairs, tables, balloons. Lisa directed her like a coordinator. Move that table to the left. No more. The streamers are crooked. Fix them. Emily fixed them. During the shower, Emily served cake. She poured champagne. She collected empty plates. One of Lisa's friends whispered loud enough for Emily to hear. Is that the ex-wife? Another friend laughed. She's the maid now. Lisa stood at the center of the room, opening gifts. Onesies, bottles, a stroller. She held up a tiny blue outfit. Thank you all for being here. This baby is the start of something beautiful. A real family. The women applauded. Emily carried a tray of dirty plates to the kitchen. That night, she found a crumpled gift receipt in the trash. One of the gifts, the $800 stroller, was purchased on David's credit card. Emily photographed it. She sent it to her attorney. Add it to the list. Emily walked past the study one evening. David was at the desk, practicing her signature on a napkin. Over and over, the loops, the slant, the capital E. He didn't see her standing in the doorway. He crumpled the napkin. He tried again. Better this time. He smiled. Emily stepped back. She pulled out her phone. She filmed him through the crack in the door. 30 seconds. Clear video. His hand. Her signature. The napkin. She sent it to her lawyer. Fraud evidence. Her lawyer replied, file emergency motion tomorrow. Emily typed back, wait, let him finish. Week 10. David's lawyer came to the house. He sat at the dining table with a stack of documents. David and Lisa sat across from him. Emily was in the kitchen, wiping down counters. The lawyer's voice carried, if she signs these, you'll have full control of Evergreen within 30 days. Clean transfer, no contest. David leaned forward. And if she doesn't? The lawyer hesitated. Then we go to court. It gets messy, expensive. Lisa touched David's hand. She'll sign. She has no fight left. David called into the kitchen. Emily, come here. Emily walked into the dining room. The lawyer slid a document across the table. This is a settlement agreement. You sign and you walk away with $200,000. Clean break. Emily picked it up. She read the first page. It was a full release. She'd give up her 50% of Evergreen, her share of the house, her claim to any marital assets. She set it down. I need time to review this. The lawyer smiled. There's nothing to review. It's generous. David's voice was sharp. Sign it. Emily looked at him. I'll have my lawyer look at it first. David stood. You don't need a lawyer. You need to stop dragging this out. Emily turned and walked back to the kitchen. That night, she photographed every page. She sent the entire file to her attorney. He's trying to buy me out for pennies. Her attorney replied, let him think you're considering it. Lisa announced the gender reveal party at dinner. 80 guests, pink and blue everywhere. It's going to be perfect. David refilled his wine. Emily, you'll serve drinks, obviously. Lisa smiled. And wear the apron. I want everyone to see how far you've fallen. Emily nodded. David leaned back. You've been a good maid. Maybe we'll give you a reference when this is over. Lisa laughed. She can say she worked for a real family. Emily stood. She cleared the plates. That night at 2 a.m., her attorney filed the emergency asset freeze and the secret court-ordered paternity test. David knew nothing. Emily went to sleep. For 90 days, she had scrubbed their floors. At night, she built their grave. 3 days before the gender reveal party, Emily sent David a text. File for divorce. Split everything 50-50. I'll walk away quietly. You have 48 hours. David was in bed with Lisa when the text came through. He read it out loud. Lisa laughed. She's desperate. David screenshotted it. He sent it to his lawyer. She knows she's losing. Ignore it. His lawyer replied, agreed. Proceed with the party. Once the baby's here, she'll sign anything. Lisa kissed David's cheek. I told you, she's got nothing. David texted back to Emily, you had 11 years to give me a child. You failed. I'm taking everything. The company, the house, the future. See you at the party. He kissed Lisa. She's done. Lisa smiled. Let her come to the party. Let her see what a real family looks like. David laughed. I want her there. I want her to watch. Emily read the text. She didn't reply. She forwarded it to her attorney. Her attorney called immediately. He rejected the exit. You're clear. Everything we filed is locked in. Emily hung up. She looked at herself in the mirror. 90 days of humiliation. 90 nights of preparation. He could have taken mercy. He chose pride. That choice would cost him everything. Emily pulled the maid apron out of the closet. She folded it carefully. She set it on the bed. She'd wear it one last time. The gender reveal party was everything Lisa had promised. 80 guests, a live DJ, pink and blue balloons covering every surface of the backyard. White string lights hung between the trees, a dessert table with cupcakes, cookies, and a 3-tier cake on center stage with boy or girl written in gold frosting. David and Lisa stood at the center of it all. He wore a tailored navy suit. She wore a white maternity dress, her hand resting on her belly like a crown. The crowd gathered around the stage. Champagne glasses clinked. Cameras flashed. David's mother stood in the front row, beaming. David grabbed the microphone. Thank you all for coming. This moment means everything to me. The crowd cheered. After everything, I kept the Barren one around just long enough to sort the company. A few people glanced toward the back of the yard. Emily stood there, alone, wearing the maid apron Lisa had insisted on. She held a serving tray. But real love wins. He pulled Lisa close. Lisa is giving me my son. The crowd erupted. Applause, whistles. And we're taking full control of Evergreen Realty together. Lisa grabbed the mic. That cold maid in the back will be gone soon. Sign the papers and disappear, Emily. Laughter rippled through the guests. David raised a knife over the cake. To my new family, my heir, and finally owning 100% of what's mine. They cut into the cake together. Blue filling exploded out. The crowd screamed, "It's a boy! It's a boy!" David lifted Lisa off her feet. He kissed her. long and deep. Confetti cannons fired, music blasted, champagne flowed. They believed they had won everything: the baby, the company, the assets, the humiliation. David's brother-in-law raised his glass. To David, finally getting what he deserves. The crowd toasted. Emily stood at the back, holding a thick manila envelope. Her face was blank. She set down the tray. She started walking. The confetti was still falling when Emily stepped through the crowd. No one noticed at first. She walked slowly, deliberately, her maid apron still on, the envelope in her hand. One guest nudged another, then another. The crowd began to part. Conversations stopped mid-sentence. The music didn't stop, but a strange silence spread through the yard. Emily climbed the 3 steps onto the stage. David turned. He was still holding Lisa. He saw Emily. He laughed. "What, you want a piece of cake?" A few guests chuckled nervously. Emily said nothing. She stood there, calm as ice. Then a man in a grey suit stepped onto the stage beside her. Mr. Sterling, her attorney. The DJ cut the music. The backyard went dead silent. Mr. Sterling's voice carried across the entire yard. "David Lawson, you are being served divorce papers and an emergency court order." David's smile froze. "As of 9 a.m. this morning, all assets of Evergreen Realty and joint accounts are frozen pending fraud investigation." David laughed. It sounded hollow. "This is fake. She's unstable." Mr. Sterling didn't blink. "The projector, Mrs. Lawson." Emily clicked the remote in her hand. The massive screen behind the stage lit up. The first slide appeared. Medical documents, official letterhead, dated 2014 and 2023. Azoospermia, 0 sperm count, complete sterility. The crowd gasped. Someone in the front whispered, "What does that mean?" Another voice, "It means he can't have kids." David's face went white. "That's not—" The second slide appeared. Lisa's conception dates, highlighted in yellow. David's Dubai business trip, highlighted in red. Gone the entire month. Impossible conception window. Someone in the crowd whispered, "He wasn't even here." A woman near the back pulled out her phone. She started recording. The third slide appeared. Hotel receipts, security camera stills. Lisa and a man who wasn't David. Lisa Chen plus Jake Morrison, Hilton downtown, 47 visits over 6 months. A man in the crowd said, "Holy shit." Lisa's champagne glass slipped from her hand. It shattered on the stage, glass everywhere. The fourth slide appeared. Court-ordered prenatal paternity test. Week 10, official seal. Probability of paternity, David Lawson, 0.00%. Jake Morrison, 99.99%. The entire backyard went dead silent. Phones came out everywhere, recording, filming. David's mother's hand went to her mouth. David's sister backed away from the stage. The fifth slide appeared, an audio file, play button in the center. Emily clicked it. Lisa's voice filled the speakers, crystal clear. "David can't get it up half the time anyway. Jake knocked me up, but David thinks it's his, and I'll help him steal the company from his wife too. Win-win." Someone in the crowd said, "Oh my God." Another voice, "She planned this." Lisa backed away from the microphone. "Jake?" Her voice cracked. Tears started streaming down her face. "I didn't mean—" The sixth slide appeared. Emergency court order, filed that morning, judge's signature at the bottom. All assets of Evergreen Realty frozen, joint accounts seized. Attempted forgery of Emily Lawson's signature, evidence attached. Motion granted. David's forged signature attempts, highlighted in red. All 9 pages. David tried to grab the papers from Mr. Sterling's hand. "This is a lie." His knees buckled. He couldn't stand. He dropped to one knee on the stage. The crowd murmured. Did he just fall? Is he crying? Lisa was sobbing now. "I didn't, Jake," he said. "He said David wouldn't find out." She ran off the stage, clutching her belly. The crowd parted. No one touched her. She stumbled through the yard in her white dress, mascara running down her face. David looked up at Emily. She looked down at him. Mr. Sterling stepped back. This moment was hers. Emily's voice was calm, quiet, but it carried across the entire backyard. You kept me as your maid for 90 days to forge my name and steal my company. David's mouth opened. No words came out. I let you. She tilted her head. Because I filed first. The crowd was frozen. 80 people, not a single sound. You wanted everything. She looked around at the pink and blue balloons, the confetti on the ground, the shattered champagne glass. Now you have nothing, she paused. Not the baby, not the business, not even your pride. David tried to stand. His legs wouldn't hold him. Emily. His voice broke. She turned to Mr. Sterling. Remove him from my property. 2 security guards stepped onto the stage. They lifted David by his arms. He didn't fight. The crowd parted as they walked him through the backyard and out the gate. David's mother started crying. His sister stood frozen, her phone still recording. Emily stood alone on the stage. The projector was still glowing behind her. She didn't smile. She just walked off. The collapse didn't happen all at once. It was slow, surgical, irreversible. Week 1. The court order gave Emily temporary sole control of Evergreen Realty. David's name was stripped from the building overnight, his office cleared by security, his keycard deactivated. Monday morning, David drove to the office. He parked in his usual spot. He walked to the front entrance. The receptionist looked up. I'm sorry, sir, you're not on the access list. David stared at her. I own this company. She glanced at her computer screen. According to our records, you don't. Would you like me to call security? David's face went red. Call Emily. She'll tell you, Mrs. Lawson is in a meeting. I can take a message. David turned and walked out. He sat in his car for 20 minutes. Then he drove home. His salary was frozen that same day. Week 2. David tried calling clients. 4 of them answered. One said, we're going in a different direction. Another said, we saw the news. The third said, I don't think this partnership is going to work. The 4th hung up without saying anything. David opened a bottle of scotch at 11 a.m. week 3. The court-ordered paternity test results went public. Local news picked it up. Social media exploded. Real estate CEO's baby scandal. Girlfriend cheated, baby not his. Lisa posted a tearful video on Instagram Live. She was in a hotel room. Her face was swollen from crying. I made a mistake. Jake and we were together before David. I don't know what I thought. I'm sorry. She tagged David in the post. Then she sued him. Her lawyer filed for $47,000. Every cent David had spent on prenatal care, maternity clothes, the gender reveal party, and the baby shower. Her lawyer claimed fraud and emotional distress. She moved out the same day. David called her 47 times. She blocked his number. Week 5. David woke to the sound of a diesel engine in the driveway. He looked out the window. A flatbed truck. 2 men in reflective vests. They were hooking chains to his Tesla. He ran outside in his boxers and a t-shirt. Wait, there's been a mistake. The driver didn't look up. Repossession order, Bank of America. You got the notice 2 weeks ago. David's voice cracked. I can pay. Not my problem. They winched the Tesla onto the truck. Across the street, his neighbor stood on the lawn with her phone out. Recording. David saw the red dot. He walked back inside. The Audi was gone by noon. Same drill, same neighbor, same phone. That video hit 200,000 views in 2 days. The top comment, Karma drives a tow truck. The joint bank accounts were drained by court order. Every dollar transferred to a frozen escrow account pending the divorce settlement. David tried to withdraw cash from an ATM, insufficient funds. He checked his balance, $3.47. That Friday, the sheriff showed up at the house, eviction notice, signed by a judge. The house was 100% under Emily's control now. Court ruling, David had attempted to defraud her out of her share of marital assets. He had 48 hours to vacate. David packed 2 suitcases. He called his mother. She didn't answer. He called his sister. She answered. Don't call here. She hung up. David drove to a motel off the highway. $59 a night. Week 7. The clients started leaving. Evergreen Realty lost 6 major accounts in 2 weeks. The local news ran a story. Real estate CEO tried to steal wife's half of company while faking fertility for 11 years. The reporter interviewed 3 former clients on camera. We can't work with someone like that. It's a matter of integrity. We've moved our business elsewhere. David's phone rang constantly, angry calls from investors, partners, his own family. His mother left a voicemail. "You've humiliated this family. Don't call here again." David started drinking heavily. Vodka, morning and night. He stopped showering, stopped shaving. He sat in the motel room and watched the ceiling fan spin. Week 9. David's brother-in-law found him unconscious in the motel room. Empty pill bottles on the nightstand. Vodka spilled on the floor. The paramedics revived him in the ambulance. Suicide attempt, overdose. They admitted him to a psychiatric facility for a mandatory 72-hour hold. It turned into a 90-day rehab stay. Inpatient, no phone, no visitors. David spent his days in group therapy, a circle of broken people, addicts, attempted suicides. The therapist asked him why he did it. David stared at the floor. "I lost everything." The therapist waited. "I had a company, a family, a future." His voice cracked. "Now I have nothing." The therapist leaned forward. "What did you do to lose it?" David didn't answer. He had no company, no baby, no wife, no family, no money, no home. He was 42 years old, and he had nothing. On day 30 of rehab, a manila envelope arrived for David. No return address. The nurse handed it to him during mail call. He opened it in his room. Inside, a photo. Emily, standing in the kitchen of their house, wearing the maid apron. Her face was blank, eyes like ice. Underneath the photo, copies of his forged signature attempts. All 9 pages, highlighted in red, and a handwritten note on evergreen realty letterhead. "You kept me as your maid for 90 days to steal my company. I kept you in the dark and took it all. Every morning you watched me serve your breakfast. Every night you slept in our bed with her. You thought you were winning. You were never even playing. You let me believe I was broken for 11 years. Every doctor visit, every failed IVF cycle. You knew it was you. Enjoy the mirror." No signature. David stared at the photo for an hour. Then he put it face down on the desk. He didn't look at it again. But he didn't throw it away either. 3 months after the party, Emily walked into the Evergreen Realty office. Her office now, the nameplate on the door had been changed. Emily Lawson, CEO and sole owner. She set her bag down on the desk, the same desk David used to sit at. She looked out the window at the city skyline. The buildings glittered in the afternoon sun. For 11 years, she had built this company in silence. Now it was hers. Legally, completely, irreversibly. She opened her laptop. 3 new client emails, 2 contract renewals, 1 acquisition offer. She started typing. No smile, no tears, no celebration. Just work. David wanted a son to prove he was a man. Emily gave him a mirror. "Tell me, which loss destroyed him more? The company he tried to steal, or the son that was never his?"